Yeah, yep. Putting Francine back together. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be recording it. So I'm doing a complete video on upgrading your CO2 Galvo head from a 10 millimeter Galvo head to a 20 millimeter Galvo head, which is it's not a compromise. Like it's not a compromisable upgrade. Like you
all or
need
nothing
to make this upgrade. You have to do it. The 10
Oh, so
millimeter head, the 10 millimeter head on the CO2 Galvo laser is unusable. Because
So
the
buy
dot
it
size,
with a 20 or don't
buy
buy
it with a 20. And I told Mactron too, this was a great thing. I told Mactron, you will list a listing option for a 20 millimeter head, or I won't recommend this product. Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex over at Laser Everything, and you are listening to the Laser Source Podcast, the #1 podcast if you're looking to grow or scale your laser business. We are just kind of hanging out today. We've got Tachy here. What's up, bro?
What's up, guys? Long time no see.
We haven't talked to Tachy in a while because Tachy's been busy with school, and we've got him on today, and I'm really excited to have him here. So we're just gonna kind of shoot the shit and hang out. It's just gonna be a little powwow session. We're just going to chill. And we were just actually talking about how far the YouTube channel has come. You can see up here in the corner. Oh, I pointed to the right corner for once. We just hit 5,000 subscribers. That's amazing. It's at 5,001 now, but that's so cool. Like I can't believe that it's just grown. It's grown so fast. It's kind of getting ridiculous. I've got, I want to pull up the YouTube stats here so that we can just chat about some of the back end stats too. I see you've got the channel up there.
Yeah, I was trying to minimize myself. If you're just listening, you're going to miss out on a lot because we're going through the channel this morning and just looking at everything that I missed the last couple of weeks. But yeah.
So if this loads here, I can get some general stats. All right, let's hop over. 5,002. It's getting to the point now where it's just constantly going up. You know, like sometimes it would be hours or days between new subscribers, and now it's just always going up. In the last 28 days, in the last month, the channel has gotten 66,683 views.
Wow.
Yep. That equates to about 8.4 thousand hours of watch time, and we've gained 1.3 thousand subscribers. That's just in the last 28 days. In the last 48 hours, our videos have gotten 4,400 views, which is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Well, are you getting help or are you just losing sleep? Because I'm scrolling and I still haven't gotten to the part. Okay, bamboo glasses was the last thing that I watched. I have not seen anything since then, and this is 3 weeks ago, so that's about right. I feel like the last 3 weeks have been a blur for me, but holy crap, daily millijoules. I know you've been doing those pretty consistently. We're getting into some autumn stuff. I had leaves on the ground in my yard this morning. I love it. Scaling your business. I remember you guys doing, I think it was a two-time session with Alex Campbell.
Yep.
And yeah, like holy crap, dude! Like it is consistent. I have a lot of catching up to do.
You can see too. I've been so we used to just for Millijoule Friday Live Day and the Laser Master Academy live streams, I would just upload the general thumbnails, and I've been like trying to up my thumbnail game. I don't know if you can see it here because it started right about when you got busy. But I've been really trying to like get the thumbnails better, not just for the main episodes, but for everything.
No, I like this. They're all eye-catching and different. You've got the same yellow and black, which I think is great. I mean, it's your logo color, so everything
and then
flows well.
So like that Laser Everything live one, the very first one in the top left, the only reason that's still that one is because we stopped recording that at like 11 o'clock last night, so I haven't thrown a new thumbnail over it yet, but that's the only one. And that's a great example of StreamYard with Jimmy on the live stream right there too. If you hover over it, it gives you kind of the, so like he could actually, we did his mirror alignment yesterday, which was hilarious. If you have spent any time listening to Jimmy talk, watching him deal with the frustration of trying to get his mirrors aligned was the funniest thing.
So you're in your shop and he's in his shop, and you guys are just talking to each other about
we're just
shop
talking
stuff.
and hanging out.
That's great.
Yeah,
No, the idea of that is really cool because I think we were talking about this on the bonus episode, was that the ability to drop in and like you're live streaming on Friday and you've got someone in the community going, hey, I've got this really weird thing going on with my laser. And you're like, here's a link, show everybody, we'll work that out. And like, this is cool. The collaboration I think is great.
Yep. So we're still kind of testing it out, but it's right there. I've got it just about dialed into where I want it, barring technical issues with the guests. You know, it should be fairly simple to do. So in this video, we're running live and I walk him step by step through his CO2 beam alignment. And it took a while, but we got there.
Oh, I see him doing the blue tape method, trying to align it up. I mean, you do it once, and as long as you don't move it too much, you're good for a while. So
yep.
Excellent. There was no fire in this one, right?
There was no fire in this one, no.
Oh, what is that? What is he doing there with the piece of paper?
That's your mirror 3 alignment, right? So getting the beam to come straight down out of the center of the nozzle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't
just
want
using a piece of paper and lining it up to the... Yeah,
and that's actually that sheet. Not that it's that difficult to make. You could easily make one on your own, but that sheet is available on the LMA. And it's just a bunch of circles that are the same diameter as the tube with a dot in the center. And then you can adjust mirror number 3 until your dot is hitting the dot in the center of the circle.
Gotcha. Yeah, we talked about Laser Master Academy a little bit on the bonus episode, but I think that the laser alignment for a CO2, I mean, everyone does laser alignment videos. I don't think they all do it good, because I probably spent about, let's say 15 hours over the course of a week trying to get my CO2 tank lined up. This is fine, but I am 100% behind the reverse laser alignment that I talked to you about a couple months ago. You probably never had a chance to do yours, right?
I did it.
The bullet.
I did it.
You did?
It worked so well. I struggled a little bit at the beginning because I have a very special situation where my mirror number 1 is super glued into place.
Ooh.
So I had to break it off. And basically, when you're trying to get that very first bounce of the beam to bounce right to mirror number 2, you have to actually physically move the mirror. I had to break the mirror off from where it was super glued in. And I put some fresh super glue on it. And then I had to get it in the right spot while it was drying and then hold it there until it dried. It was a nightmare, but
sitting there just
I got
waiting.
it done. I re-glued it. I sanded the bottom of that mirror mount and re-glued it probably 8 times, but I did get it right. I really need to just order a complete new like assembly for that. But I just, back in the day when I first set up my laser, I had no idea what I was doing. So I just broke the mounts off and then just glued it where I thought it was good. But yeah, I did do the reverse mirror alignment. The trick was putting a piece of masking tape over the tube nozzle. And then having the red beam bounce all the way back to just the very center of that tube nozzle solved it. Once that was done, then it was very easy to go through and do it the traditional way and just make very minor adjustments to dial things the last 2%. But
so you did it both ways.
I did it both ways. I did the reverse first, and that got me 98% of the way there. And then doing the traditional forward mirror alignment method gave me that last 2%. Right. Because at the end of the day, you really have to see it mark in the center, And there were some small adjustments that needed to be made after the reverse, but it saved me hours of work.
Did that mount that I printed you work okay for your laser?
It worked
bullet?
Good. You could shift it slightly so that I wasn't ever really sure if it was like actually parallel with the...
You tightened it to the collar?
I tried to.
Oh,
I tried to. Yeah, it's a little, it's finicky. You gotta work with it a little bit, but it's less finicky than doing the traditional alignment. Yeah.
So if you guys aren't familiar and you have a CO2 tank or you're planning on getting one, the alignment of the 3 mirrors to the tube to get it more or less down the nozzle perfect or as close to perfect as possible is difficult and important. It probably is going to come from your manufacturer not quite right, and you're going to spend some time dialing it in. Well, the issue, especially the bigger your CO2 tank is, you know, the gantry going from one direction to the other or from one corner to the other, it's going to have drift. It's not going to be perfectly trammed to your device. So people try to get it centered well. But if you have a big piece, like with what Jimmy's doing, he's doing gigantic LED signs, you have to have it pretty well centered. Otherwise, you're going to have issues cutting. You're going to have issues with it rubbing the inside of the nozzle. So the alignment process is kind of a pain because you're dialing in one mirror and then, okay, that looks good. I'm going to get the center of this mirror. And then you move all the way to the other side and you test it and you'll see a huge drift. So this reverse laser alignment, I'm not sure who came up with it, but American Photonics has videos and they have devices that you can, it's a milled piece of metal that you put a LED, a laser into, like a red laser into. They are expensive. And so for me, I was like, I'm going to buy a $5 9mm bullet that people use to calibrate a barrel with, you know, sights on a barrel for a pistol. I took that, I 3D printed the ID and OD of that. I shoved it in my laser and I followed the video and did the best that I could with what the video had. And that's the reason it took me 15 hours. You know, it's not good.
It's not a good video. It's a smart idea.
Roundabout way of me getting
instructing you on how to do it is lacking.
Oh, you're glitching out on me.
I think you're back. Oh, I was just saying the video, the idea is smart, but the video instructing you on how to execute is lacking.
I think I even commented on that video. I said, you didn't do the full alignment. You didn't do it all the way through. He did like half of it and said, and then you do the rest. And I was like, if you're going through all the effort of doing it 50% or 70%, you need to do it the rest of the way. But I did it. And that's one of the reasons it took me like, I'd say 15 hours is because I spent like 5 or 6, 7, 8 hours over the course of a few days, just trying to get it good. And then I went back and I did the reverse alignment. And the worst part, the part that I hate is you have to take your tube, disconnect your tube, and you actually have to slide your tube forward or back, not necessarily forward or back, but up or down as one of the final steps. So what I would like to do, and maybe this is something we can talk about later, but for the Laser Master Academy, we can do a good video on how to align your tube with the laser alignment. We can have the 3D printed files, where to grab a laser, and actually show the process. And like we can collab because you got your tank, I've got my tank, and we could show, you know, at the same time different parts of the process. I think it would be interesting. People, you want to have it right. And on the American Photonics video, he says, well, if you're not perfectly 90 degrees coming down into your, you know, you're bent a little bit, you're not going to get the best power transfer, which is, yes, okay, you're not going to get 100% of the power of your laser reflected off. That's
why
fine.
You're not going to get 100% power anyway.
But the important part is when you move your gantry, you don't want it to be too wavy. For me, it's more about aligning your rails than it is the laser. The laser isn't going to drift too much, but you'll be able to cut consistently if you cut all the way across your entire work area, and it's going to be in focus everywhere. That's the most important part. And you start at the beginning leveling your bed. If you have a honeycomb, I took mine off, but if you have the honeycomb, you level the honeycomb or you level your bed too. That's step one. So,
no,
I'm glad you got it done.
I got it done. The things that really tripped me up, there were two things that seriously tripped me up. The first thing is that I didn't understand that when you're like, let's say you're going from mirror 1 to mirror 2, you can't adjust the dials on the back of the mirror to make it more center in the close position. So when mirror 2 is right up next to mirror number 1, you can't adjust those dials. Wherever it's hitting, you need to move the mirror to get it to hit in the center. You can't move the adjusters. The adjusters are only for use when the mirror is far away. And I would adjust the dials on the back of the mirror in the close position. Then it'd be off in the far position. Then I'd adjust for the dials for the far position, and then it'd be off in the close position, and it's just a circle.
I did the same thing. I didn't realize that you have to get it. I would center mine, and then I would like, okay, it looks great center. And then I go to one end, and I'm like, oh, that's off. Then I go to the other end, and I'm like, that's a little off too. And I would adjust one end, and I was chasing And then I had to realize that you have to do the far end. And then when you come in and it's off on the close end, you cut it in half. You make half the adjustment so that, and that's why the laser pointer, I think, is really, really, really important to the process, because you can't turn your laser on and have it run constantly as you're going across. But when you can see the laser actually drift back and forth as you're moving the gantry, you understand that, hey, this isn't perfectly level. My CO2 beam is going to do this too if the laser pointer is. So that brought it all together for me.
There's one main reason why the that isn't a video, because I did the whole process, right? So that should be a video on the channel, and it's not. Here's the reason why. That stupid bullet laser pointer died every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, I had to like pull the batteries out, change the order that they're in, and then close it back up, and I'd get another like minute and a half. And as I went on, the death time got shorter and shorter and shorter. I just couldn't keep the laser on. If I was recommending this to somebody, what I think we should do is 3D print a new ID/OD jig and get a like powered, like a legitimate powered like red dot. You know, like
so the one that I sent you was a different one than the one that I used. I'm going to pull it up here on Amazon. So I did mine, and I think you and Tony were both going to buy one. I said, don't buy this one I got, buy a different one, because mine would, the batteries, and I got the batteries for hearing aids, and the hearing aid batteries are like 150 milliamps. They're like 4 times the capacity of the ones that it came with. And I could run it for 5 minutes and then it would die. And then I would let it sit for a minute and it would die. And these kinds of laser pointers, they screw on and you unscrew to turn them on and off. So they didn't have a button on it. I highly, highly, highly recommend, if you're going to do this, you get a laser pointer that has an on and off switch. So when you're not trying to get it aligned, you can turn it off to save power. But also, what if we get a fucking, like a big, like one that's this big, that's a traditional point and click laser pointer, and then you shove that in the hole? That should be the same thing, right? As long as it's circular.
It should, but the button will throw off the angle that it ends up locking in. I think that little bit of tilt would make a big difference down the line. What I think we should get is like another beam combiner laser, like a real red dot that you can hook up temporarily to 12 volts on your machines.
So we need to find something more specific for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So this is
constant power, whether it's coming from a dedicated power supply, right, with the alligator clips, or whether you wire it to the 12 volt on the inside of your machine by the controller, just like the one that's actually being used in the beam combiner. I don't care which one it is, but something with a dedicated power line on 12 volts or something like that, I think would be ideal. Then just
that's
cut the
probably
batteries out of the equation.
So if you take the laser pointer that's already attached to your tank too, and it's the cable's long enough, you could flip that over and shove it in. This is what I got, and you guys can see that, for one, it's not perfectly smooth. So this outer, can I write on it? Yeah, this outer gauge here was a different diameter, but you have to unscrew this bitch in the back, and I hated that. So I was like, you guys should get a different one, and hopefully, I'm sorry you had the same headache on that as I did.
I think it's just that those little batteries just can't put out the sustained draw that the diode requires, you know, like it just can't do it. And
so eliminating the batteries completely is probably the best course of action, but it's probably going to be a little more involved. Maybe we can figure that out though.
Yeah, definitely. We'll take a look around and we can kind of circle back around. But this is like a massive digression from what we were chatting about, which was the channel, which is
the channel. Yeah,
super cool, dude. There's that touch-free dog bowl, by the way. There's the final mark on that. So that's got the powder coat removal, no ablation whatsoever, which turned out like really nice. We did some custom graphic design in that one too, like a little logo or whatever, which is pretty nice. But once we got these settings, man, it was just, I mean, we were cruising. I'm really, really pleased with how the results came out on this, and I think you're gonna have a lot of luck with those tumblers that you want to test on if you give those settings
freaking
a shot.
Yeti, man.
If those are Yeti. Those are fake Yetis. They're fake. They're not even real. There's a link to them. Fetties. Yeah, they're Fetties. There's a link in the video description of that video to them. They're like $16 on Amazon. Super cheap.
They're on Amazon. We don't have to go through Ali.
You don't have to do Ollie on these. In fact, I couldn't find them on Ollie. I was going to give people an Ollie option, and I couldn't find them. I could only find them on Amazon. But $16 is a steal compared to the regular ones, which, believe it or not, are like $50 for a dog bowl, for a dog water bowl. Yeah, it's like a $50
I love my dog, but
water bowl.
no.
That's what I'm saying. You can grab those out of the Amazon link, and you can sell it for $50 customized, and people are going to pay it, you know, which is insane. But yeah,
I'm going to buy one right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, buy one right now.
I don't have enough shit on my my shelves over there that I'm not using. Do you said it's in the?
Yeah, it should be in the description. Probably in that scroll up, like right in that. So 2 big chunks of links, and then the little ones in between.
Oh yeah, I totally Fetty.
Boom.
Yeah, I totally missed it. There's only black of
yeah, there's a couple different colors in there.
$37. 20.
Unique. I'm looking for his. Oh, here we go. So I also have another channel announcement. Our percentage of female viewers has gone up from 4.7% to 6.1%.
One more has joined.
That's right. One more. We have one.
No, that's
more
fantastic.
Lady. Yeah,
we need some more representation.
I like to see the balance, which is really nice. You know, one of the interviews that I'm really excited about, we did the that interview we just did with Southern Smoke Engraving too. So we're gonna have that podcast episode is coming up eventually. That one's actually going to require quite a bit of editing because we had a lot of technical issues when we were recording that one, which is why it hasn't been released yet. So, but it's backlogged, and I have to get it out soon because that's going to be a great episode too. Oh yeah, there's the mark right there. It's clean, man. I'm not gonna lie, it took a little bit of elbow grease with the melamine.
Yeah, you can see that it's starting to fade off just a little bit there, but I mean you're making multiple passes and you're not messing with the metal, so it doesn't matter how many times you run it, right?
Yeah. So what I would do if I was going to do this on the rotary would be like a mark loop of 4, probably, so that it ran all 4 passes before rotating on the rotary tool.
And your recommendation for the rotary is always to do a 0, not a 45, negative 45?
Yeah, I would do the 0 because the negative 45 and 45 lines don't line up after the rotary has made a step.
Oh, so yeah. So if you're not parallel,
like
it's going to be
offset, like shark tooth pattern. Yeah, it doesn't work. So yeah, I've been on rotary, just straight 0. But yeah,
free delivery tomorrow. Here we go.
Really, really nice, man. Everybody's been getting that lately, like 12 to 24-hour delivery on Amazon. I'm still not seeing that as an option, but yeah. And
I live right next to 3 distribution centers, so if one of them doesn't have it, it'll be surprising. So
yeah, I've heard some people saying that. And then this one, we actually turn the power up. So for normal flat stuff or the rotary, if you're using it, since the rotary is always perfectly focused, I was saying 40 power is better. This one we redid at 50 power to try to help get us around the curve, and it came out much better. So, and then all that.
And as soon as you put that,
it just vanishes.
Really nice.
Yep.
No, that's beautiful. And you know, any videos that you do where it's just like you laser and you're done, there's no post processing. Like I drool all over those because you see so many, like, especially with wood, it's like you cut it and then you have to sand it and then you have to stain it and then you have to sand it again. And it's like so much of your labor that you can only charge so much for it because so much of your cost is your labor. But if you can set something up, get your settings right for a dog bowl, and then you can make 100 dog bowls like that and then just ship them off. It's great. Every video I see like this, I just love. Yeah, that's really good.
Yep. So those settings, man, A+. Yeah, I that's why we like, people always ask me if we do like any other kind of processes here at the shop. I don't do anything. I literally don't do anything, dude. If it's more than just like a wiping it down or like a clean with like a quick basic chemical like the degreaser or the alcohol, we don't do it here. I don't do any woodworking. I don't do any like metal work kind of stuff. Like I literally, dude, like if I can't blast it with the laser and give it back to the customer, like I just won't do it.
Look at this hair. Look at this hair.
I know, dude. It's getting there again. I'm getting close. I've been trying to get regular haircuts. It's just like I don't want to sit in a chair. I don't want to sit in a chair and get a haircut for 30 minutes when I could be working.
You went pretty far into this one too for rotary on CO2.
This is an old one. Yeah, it goes into enough. It doesn't really touch on steppers and how to check your pulses per se. It's not as in depth as the rotary setup video, basically, for fiber. And I'd like to do a CO2 one that goes as in depth because I have the knowledge, and the format would be easy to do. But I haven't produced an episode like that yet. So we lack a CO2 rotary setup video.
Well, I mean, they probably don't know, but we know that there's a lot of work in the background. We've got members of staff that have like between us, like 5 different types of rotary brands that we're testing to try to figure out what's good. Yep. So that'll come out pretty soon.
Tony just sent me the OhmTech, which I'm going to have to buy from him. He sent me his old OhmTech one that he had.
I thought you were sending that back to OhmTech for a refund.
I was supposed to, but I still haven't produced the review on it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be out of his return window at this point. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive, but I'm sure it is. So I'm just going to end up buying it from him and having it here. And I think I'm just going to start collecting them because why not?
Put them on the shelves as a museum.
Dude,
yeah.
You know, so I've got the Cohesion 3D one now. I've got the OhmTech one. He's going to ship me either the Mansfield or the Pyburn at some point, one or the other. Let me test it and do a review, and then we're going to swap, and he's going to send it back to me. That is if he's still alive. We haven't heard from Tony in a while. I'm getting kind of concerned about Tony. I definitely thought that Tony would be back on the podcast before you, and here you are. So that's just increasing my concern at this point.
Yeah, shattering expectations, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then, I mean, you know, as far as just like future stuff, man, I'm really excited to get Francine back together. That's the CO2 Galvo laser. So we can start really producing content with this. Because I think
this is what you're working on today, right?
Yep. Putting Francine back together. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be recording it. So I'm doing a complete video on upgrading your CO2 Galvo head from a 10 millimeter Galvo head to a 20 millimeter Galvo head, which is it's not a compromise. Like it's not a compromisable upgrade.
It's all or
need
nothing
to make this upgrade. You have to do it. The 10 millimeter head on the CO2 Galvo laser is unusable because the
buy it with a 20 or don't buy
it with a 20. And I told Mactron too, this was a great thing. I told Mactron, you will list a listing option for a 20 millimeter head, or I won't recommend this product. Is basically what I said. Because it's just unusable. You cannot use it with the 10 millimeter head. The dot size is just too big. So you need
Did they give you any reason why they came with that in the first place? Like I know they're selling a product. They don't care what you use it for or if it's usable, but for ones that care about the repurchase and who are doing affiliate programs.
China believes, let me say this. China believes that US buyers are very price sensitive. And for the most part, that's actually pretty true. They want the lowest price, right? So the 2 amp 10 millimeter Galvo head is significantly less expensive than the 20 millimeter head. Even if it's far less usable, the sticker price is lower. And that is their priority, is keeping the sticker price as low as possible. But I'm telling you, dude, you cannot use a 10 millimeter. It's not a fiber laser. The fiber laser beam comes out much wider out of the end of the laser gun than it does out of the RF tube on the CO2, and you get a much finer, more usable dot size. And the 20 millimeter head, dude, you just can't, like, it's going to be a massive difference. I can just tell you already. We're effectively doubling our beam size, which should half our dot size downrange when we're using it.
And when you were doing the original testing with the acrylic, I remember you were so frustrated because you couldn't get good results. What was the beam size that we're seeing focused on the workpiece?
I don't know. I've not done the math on that. I wish that I had, but my installation video will likely not be that thorough. But I did do a bunch of samples, and I can actually grab them really quick. Let me go get them because I'm sure you'd like to see them.
Yeah, I'd just be curious to see, like, out of the box for the 10 millimeter, you know, so the tank CO2s, I think they're like a 0.1 millimeter focus, like on the standard 2-inch lens, which is, I mean, decently small. I was actually surprised that it was as small as it was.
Well, that's because
the fiber is only a 4 times smaller, you know?
The reason that the CO2 gantry dot size is much, much smaller is because we're using 2-inch focal lenses, not 10-inch focal distance lenses. Right.
And you're only shooting that through, that's I think it's a 6 millimeter beam starting from the tube out. And I don't know what it is for the RF CO2.
It's 2 to 3. So we're starting much smaller already, which is bad.
It's smaller, but then
because of your lens. So then the CO2 lenses, think about the focal distance. We're only throwing that beam 2 inches. So obviously your dot size is going to be much, much smaller. When we're throwing it, 6 to 8 to 10 inches from a Galvo head down onto a projection area, you're going to have a much bigger dot size. So the 20 millimeter head, I'm telling you, it's non-negotiable. So I did these. Check this out. So since we had the September contest, right? So I did some just detail tests, basically.
Right.
So over here on the, what side is that for you guys? On the right side, you can see that's as small as I could get it and still kind of discern the graphic. And even then, if you compare
how tall
it to
is
the
that?
One, let's see.
It doesn't look very small.
3 inches. The small one is 2 inches, and the large one is 4 inches. So, as you can see, the details in the small one there are completely revealed when we move over to the big one. I mean, just look at how much more detail is in the larger version of this.
And they're burnt out, washed out. Yeah, that's rough.
Right? So I'm really hoping, I mean, it looks cool in its own right, but it's not what we want. So I'm hoping
going to do this.
I'm going to do the same two. Boom, boom, side by side. That's the plan.
Yeah,
so I've been saving this.
It looked like that's what you designed it for, was to have a before and after, which is good on you to have like a baseline to compare it to. Because if you're saying, hey, I mean, other than anecdotally, like we know that it's not good with 10, you're like, well, look, this, I'm showing you Mactron. I'm showing you guys who are planning on buying your Francines out there that you need it because you don't get the detail. If you want to go small, you're gonna wash it out. You're gonna burn it. I mean, at least on wood. I don't know.
I think too, and this is just this is not based on science at all, but I'm guessing. My inability to mark on acrylic and glass is due to my dot size. That
makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I can't mark glass without shattering it. I just can't. By the time I'm throwing enough power down range to fracture the glass, I've broken it, like the actual glass. So that hasn't worked at all. I've broken like 50 picture frames trying to get it to work with the big dot, and it won't do it with the big dot. And then acrylic actually gets like a really nice embossed look, but it's smooth and super clear. So you can't use it for things like LED backlit signs.
Yeah. So you need to completely vaporize it in order to burn away on the acrylic. So if it's too wide, you're not going to get that frosted look that you need, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then one of the other, the frosted look too, I think also has something to do with the continuous wave aspect of gantry CO2 lasers, whereas the RF in this format is pulsed. It's a pulse laser.
You're seeing, it's on and off. So you're not seeing an average power across is going to be different than the constant wave, because you're getting more heat to it with the constant wave.
I was talking to a member
getting the bubbling.
Recently, I think it was Tyler was telling me that he saw an article somewhere where you can actually set RF CO2 lasers have like a hidden continuous wave setting. So if you set your parameters in a very specific sequence of settings, it will actually function as a continuous wave. It will shut off the pulsing altogether. It's very interesting. I do not know if it's true, and I have nothing to back that up. But I heard
theoretically,
about it.
You can do that with a fiber too, but you wouldn't have enough power. You wouldn't have enough power. So the whole reason we do the pulse laser is because you're building up enough energy inside of the fiber itself, so that you're giving time for the electrons to increase in energy, and then coherence.
Right.
Buzzwords, right? So if you
That's
take
why
out
it's
the
a
Q,
pumped. There's a pumped
yes.
diode laser, right?
Well, they're all pumped. There's a pumping action, which is that's what gives the light amplification. And Gio's going to correct me if he wants, but the aspect of the Q switching for the fiber lasers is you're basically blocking off, allowing it to get past a certain. It's Q is quality, so the quality level of it. And when you're ready for it, you take it away and then you put it back and take it away. And so you're basically switching on and off, back and forth, but it allows you to get really, really, really high pulsed energy. And if you take that away, and as soon as you have a little bit of lasing action going on, you can make it, it will be constant, but the power, the wattage, the output level, like if this was a 50 watt, I don't even know if you get a watt out of it. I don't know what those numbers are, but it probably wouldn't be enough. And since the Q switching is so quick, especially for metal, it's almost constant. For the CO2, I would be really interested to see what that would do and if you can find those parameters.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a look and see if I can mess around with that, because that would be a very interesting thing to look further into.
Yep.
I agree. I don't believe that the RF2. Well, I think it's different. I think it's a different thing, because if we take a look at like Epilog's machines, Epilog's gantry machines use RF laser tubes, and those function as continuous lasers. Those are not pulsed. So Epilog is using RF tubes in a continuous wave configuration.
Interesting.
Which should theoretically mean that it should work in this application.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference of tech would be. Yeah, I mean, if you have an RF tube, you should be able to make it. Yeah.
I don't think it's a big difference except wattage, right? If you get an Epilog machine, you're getting a 100-watt RF tube, which is something that is just not, we just can't do that through the Galvo because it's just too damn big, right? Without like a big industrial setup. I mean, they're like Alex Campbell has like his 100-something watt CO2 Galvo, which I think has an RF tube in it, but he's got that big steel like machine frame supporting the weight of that, and it's on like big lifters, you know, and it's like a whole nother thing. We do desktop stuff here. Yeah, I don't go that hard, but still, you know, I mean, so like I don't know, does the 30 to 100 watt make a continuous beam from a CO2 RF tube usable, or would it be usable at 30? These are all questions that I don't have the answers to right now, but I'm trying to find them so that I can share them with you guys. So we'll see. Did you see Patrick's new logo? That looks sick.
Yeah, I saw the one he just posted in Garbage. I like it. I like the idea, and he got his wife involved too, so she wants ownership. I mean, you know, if you make your name focus on firearms, you kind of limit yourself. I think just based on the name,
absolutely.
But
yeah,
you know, for me, I have printing in my name. So people like printers. You do printing? No, I just like the alliteration.
Yeah.
I could do printing, but
I don't have a single printer. I've never printed anything.
I have 3D printers, but it's people wouldn't associate that with it. So I'm looking at I don't know if it's worth doing on the stream, but I'm going to pull it up anyway. I have
what's up?
Processing. Let me pull up the screen.
I'm very close to okay, here we go.
Nope,
that looks scary. I don't even like it. I don't like looking at it. Oh, it's Sinrad. That's a familiar name. Talk to me.
Oh, I literally just pulled it up, but it looks like what this is fabric. So I guess they're doing it on like jeans and stuff. So pulse versus continuous wave CO2 lasers. This is actually like a white paper. So they're doing two different, a continuous laser and a pulse laser with a 3D scan head, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we're looking at perforations on polyester at different powers, different thicknesses. Or sorry, not different powers. 100% polyester, 35.35 millimeters thick. Usable pulse. Okay, so over here, I don't know if, you probably can't. Can I highlight that? No. Over here, pulse of laser beam. So you're seeing basically the peak laser power up here at the top and what doesn't necessarily get used. So what it's saying is only part of your beam gets used because it's over the, well, they're saying it's an ablation threshold. This is enough to burn into the material. And then continuous wave, by comparison, it's showing like, or no, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. Pulse lasers down here at the bottom, and that's what we were talking about before, is you get a huge spike for a very short amount of time. And the constant wave, it's lower, but it's essentially all the time. So let's double check here. So we're looking at The P250 is pulsed. This is pulsed laser right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one on the bottom is the continuous wave. So I'm not seeing a huge difference between those two. This one looks like it's more blackened, and this one looks like it burned through, right?
Right.
Yeah, the continuous wave was more of like it didn't get as much energy into it, and this one just blasted right through it, like my wife's jeans when I did the cut setting.
That's right.
Perforations at various frequencies. Perforations were created by using each laser at a low frequency, directing the beam across fabric at constant speed. So with the pulsed laser, they were able to do the same perforations on 100% fiber 1.7 times faster versus the continuous.
If perforation is your goal.
So if you're trying to perforate, I mean, they're probably dealing with this as cutting fabric in order to make garments, which is probably what you would want to be using the pulse lasers for. But we're looking for the continuous side of it. So this chart shows the duty cycle of the pulse versus continuous, the frequency, the peak power. And so it looks like they're trying to advertise you wanting to get pulsed laser versus a continuous laser for a cutting application on organics. Okay, so that's not exactly what we were looking for. I'll try to find something better than this. Yeah. Hopefully somebody got something out of that.
Yeah, we'll play with it, dude. We'll keep looking around. I'm sure we'll find some more information on it. I just need some time to do some digging before I can get into any of that. I need to physically put Francine back together because she's in 8 pieces right now.
8.
So, yeah, dude.
Wait,
yeah.
What are you Horcruxing her?
A little bit, dude. She's kind of
shattering her across
at the moment. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really glad, by the way, I found the specs on the 20 millimeter Galvo head is made by a company called ZBTK. And I found the specs for that Galvo head, the big one. So one of the things when I realized I had a 220 power supply, I was like, well, can I just leave the power supply that I have in there and continue to use this head? I would have been severely underpowering those servos. Because
really? So you do need to upgrade.
The one that I had in there had a max amp output of 2.5 amps, and the 20 millimeter head requires 5.
Okay, I'm glad you found the specs because I think before I disappeared, we were talking about that, and I was like, I don't really see you changing a head making a big difference. But then you showed me the size of those fucking mirrors, man.
They're huge. The servos are gigantic. So it takes a lot more energy to keep that speed up and move that extra mass. Because there's a lot more mass you have to move around at those speeds. So so it's a 5 amp. So I'm glad that the new power supply is here. So as soon as we're done with the podcast today, I'm going to jump back into recording. I'm going to pretend like I'm not wearing a different outfit than I was when I started recording that video. Because I got through the entire disassembly of the machine wearing one pair of clothes, and then I reached the dead end where I had to get the new power supply and the new mount, the new neck mount. And I was like, I guess I'll just pick up where I left off. I
can't make fun of you for wearing the same clothes in every video anymore.
That's right. You can't. I've been trying. I've been making a conscious effort to change up my wardrobe. Also, it's spooky season now, so I'm feeling much more like my winter and fall clothes are much more varied than my summer options that I have available. I don't know why we're talking about this.
I have so many sweaters.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. I care.
Guys,
I care. And you're talking to me.
That's right. I seriously, time for just a quick plug. If you haven't already signed up for the Laser Masters Academy, go sign up for it right now. It's masters.lasereverything.net because today's bonus episode was really juicy. We actually take a really in-depth look at the different parts of the CO2 Galvo laser. We were checking out the lenses. We got an in-depth look at the mirror systems and stuff like that. So that was actually really cool. So just a quick little plug there for the Masters Academy bonus episode. You guys would enjoy it today. It's a fun one. But yeah, dude. So how long do we have left on these exams?
I'm done. I finished my last exam yesterday.
Oh,
so
So how long do we get to keep you before you're gone again?
4 days.
Oh,
I start classes again on the Yeah, the 16th is my first assignment due for one of my classes. So, but Wednesday classes officially start again. I've got 2 new ones. I think I'll have a better control over everything. I'm going to try to be more proactive with that. So this weekend and Monday, I'll be around. But
and then death.
Yes, the slow death.
The slow death. Well, I'm glad that you could at least find a little solace for just a short amount of time between classes where you could come hang out and talk shop for a few minutes. Miss your updates, dude. I miss seeing you.
Being able to catch up with you is nice, you know.
Will there be a winter break between semesters for you? Any kind of sizable winter pause in your education?
I think it's a week. I think basically you get the Christmas and New Year's, and then, well, I mean, technically, no, I think it's what did I tell you? The 8th of December, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I don't have classes again until like January 7th. I haven't signed up for those yet. That's next semester.
You do have a little chunk of time there. So that'll be nice.
I actually did. I didn't think about that.
We'll see around the holidays. Another thing I was thinking about too is maybe like, I know that you can't always be around for scheduled things like the podcast, but like if you're ever in the shop, I'm assuming you've done something on your lasers in the last 3 weeks, right? Like you've worked on them.
I've done a handful of axes and knives, and like it's literally just as much time. You know, I'd go in there and I'd start the lasering, and then I'd get to my homework. You know, it was lame, but I tried to come up with excuses to get out here.
If you ever want to like hop on when we're doing a live stream or something, like because we have the StreamYard set up now, you can do that, and I can shoot you a link. And even if you're popping in for 15-20 minutes, you're like, hey guys, this is what I'm working on right now. And then it finishes and you're like, I'm going to do homework. If you want to ever do anything like that, just let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out and let me know, because we can definitely do that. It's super easy.
Yeah, no, I think that it would, you know, if you're not, you know, doing something else or you're on the shop, I mean, even if you're at home, which you will be pretty soon, and then one of us is in the shop, being able to have this, you know, conversation. If you know, even if you got the baby in your arms and you're just like, yeah, you should be doing that, and we're over here tinkering with the lasers, I think it's gonna be great. Yeah, that'll be super cool. Well, I think that just about does it. Unless you have did you have anything else you wanted to share before we closed out today? No, not really. Just, you know, people need to know that I'm alive. I know everyone's been asking about me in the Discord, and people, Tachy,
so now we've checked, and we've felt a pulse here on Tachy's coldening body, but
I'm blinking in Morse code. Help me.
There is a heartbeat, which is amazing. Now we need to find Tony's dead carcass and check that for signs of life. I have no idea where he is, what forest he got lost in, but we have to go dig up his remains and see if there's any way we can bring him back from the dead. Even if it's as some kind of like Frankenstein's monster, you know, we can like stitch him back together, maybe with parts from other dead members. Would be like really effective. It'd be right on brand, because we've got Halloween coming up too. So
exactly,
that'd be great. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and Tachy today. It was really, really great to catch up with you, man. If you want more of Tachy and more of this, just kind of like what's going on, let's see. We had some really, I'm already blanking on it, but we had some really interesting conversations in the bonus episode. Started off just a little bit slow because we were just waking up, but then things kind of picked up and we got into some interesting stuff. So if you want to listen to that, go support the channel and further your laser education at the Laser Master Academy. I know I just plugged it, but I'm doing it again. It's masters.lasereverything.net. It's all the same prices and tiers that you're used to seeing from the Patreon. It's just in a new place where we've got member forums that are amazing for communicating with other supporters. You still get instant access to all of the fiber laser and CO2 laser parameter libraries. You still get bonus episodes of all the podcasts. You still get access to the multiple times a week live streams that we've been doing. There's got to be over 100 hours of live streams at this point. There's got to be
easily 12-hour days.
Over 100 hours of just live stream, juicy live stream info for you, and a whole bunch more. So don't skip on the Laser Master Academy. There are people in the Laser Master Academy that aren't new. They've been doing laser for like 10 years and they still join up to the Academy, to support the channel, and to interact with other people that are really taking this seriously and they want to step their game up to the next level. So if that's something that you want to do, one more time, it's masters.lasereverything.net. And don't forget to join the Discord. It's free. That's kind of like the dumpster fire of laser engraving community. Like just everything, just everybody's there talking about everything 24/7. It's still a great place. It's not as focused, but it's still like a must join, and it doesn't cost a dime. So go check out the Discord as well. There's a link to both of those in the show notes or video description. And I don't think that there's anything else to plug.
If you're already a member and you have been around for a while, we did a community contest last month, and we had some really great entries and some handful of winners to get some Laser Everything swag. We're doing it again this month. We'll probably do it as often as we can until Alex runs out of merchandise to send you guys your way. So we're doing Spooktober stuff. This one is completely open-ended. Last month, we required that you do one specific design. This time, any design that is related to Halloween, spookiness, skeletons, and we are allowing the community is going to be voting on it. So get in there, just look at the rules real quick, and then get started. Do it on any laser you have, on any material you have, with any design you have. And
the prize, I think the prize for this month, I'm actually going to make, this is going to be super limited. So for the September contest, we just did, I let people, the winners just picked one piece of gear from the merch shop, and that was what they got. This time, I think I'm going to custom design a one-off Halloween themed Laser Everything, like sweater or something, like really, really primo. There will only ever be one made like Halloween piece of Laser Everything merch, and that's
merch. I'm gonna have to hop in this one.
Yeah, so I think that's the way I want to go for the contest prize or prizes. We may have multiple winners again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many submissions we get. But yes, go participate. Check out the submissions from the last month's contest, which is still up because they're super cool. So if you haven't already taken a peek at those, go take a peek at them. I think we'll leave the last month's up until the current months is over. So like when October ends, we'll get rid of September and start November. So there's always two up.
Yeah, and I think and outside of the Discord too, having the submissions like available on the Master Academy is great because it'll become a resource for people to get ideas for their own lasering. I think would be great. Yeah, maybe we can create some kind of like backlog where we can look back over the years or something, and like see. Totally. Anyway, we're trying to close the show. We're not doing a good job. Thank you for bringing that up, though, because that was really important, and I never remember the contests when we're plugging stuff. That's it, guys. Get out of here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Laser Source Podcast. I appreciate you. Tachy appreciates you. I appreciate Tachy. And I think that's all I got. So we'll see you in the next one.